Hey, welcome to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Leticia Ringe, and this is the space to be for high vibe people looking to create a beautiful life and business. Let's do this. Welcome back to the podcast, my beautiful friends. I am Leticia Ringe, your host, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I hope wherever this episode finds you today that you are having a beautiful day. How are you? Today, everybody, we are having a solo episode. It's with me, and I'm really excited because I love to update you all on everything that's been happening, and I've got some really exciting announcements for you all today. So make sure you listen up. First, I want to say how amazing have our interviews been so far with all of our Holistic Business Mistress Mind members. We've got plenty more coming up, and I'm so excited for you all to connect more with these beautiful women. And I also want to remind anyone who has not yet signed up for our Holistic Business Month that's happening over in our Holistic Business community, make sure you do that. Most of these ladies are also sharing an incredible workshop for entrepreneurs to support you to nurture and nourish your body, mind, and soul. And I am also running 5 different trainings to support you using my holistic business framework to create that confidence, impact, visibility, and momentum in your business. And all of this is happening right now for free, and there's been so much amazing connection. So if you'd love to join us, all you need to do is go to leticiaringe.com/holistic business month, and then you can sign up. And for all of the workshops we've already done and all of the trainings, there will be limited time replays for those. So just go on and sign up, and then you can start diving in and enjoying all of the beautiful resources and collaborations that are being shared. It's just so beautiful. It's amazing what we can create when we collaborate, right? When we collaborate with others, there's just more abundance to share around. And this, my beautiful friends, is something to really remind yourself when your mind is comparing you to other people in and outside your industry. When someone else is doing the exact same work, let's say someone is offering the exact same service as you, that person is your peer. That person is an expander of your abundance. And so you want to make sure that you see each other as working with one another, not against one another. That is someone who shares your vision, who shares and understands you. So connect and collaborate. Lean into connection and conversation and collaboration rather than leaning out. That's what our mind wants to do because it wants to keep us safe and small. But all of the abundance lies in our beautiful relationships. So I just like to share that with you all today because I know comparison is a really big thing that stops so many people from not only starting their businesses or any other chapter in your life that you'd love to start, any other desire you really want for yourself. It also stops us from expanding into that next level. And that's a really beautiful segue, actually, into today's topic. I really want to talk about what it takes to build a $100,000 business and to thrive while doing that. This is something that, as many of you know, I love to talk about making your difference, which is, to me, showing up in the world, being yourself and sharing your innate gifts. That's how we make a difference in the world, because when we do that, we actually contribute to whatever that thing is that we're doing, to being up-leveled, to expanding, to evolving. And that in turn also allows everybody who is in our orbit, witnessing us in our element, to also up-level, evolve, and expand, because we're sharing this really beautiful, expansive energy. And so this is why when we actually just get to know who we are in our lives and what we enjoy doing, and we show up in that space, this is why we can create really successful careers and businesses and lives simply being that, rather than what we're trained to do and conditioned to do in society, which is to try to be someone else, to fit in, to look at what everybody around us is doing and make decisions from that place rather than from a place of inner voice guidance and innovation. So that's not what we're doing here on the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. We are creating businesses and lives, and of course, some of you may not be business owners, so we'll say careers and lives centered around being yourself. And this is a lot harder than it sounds because we are so conditioned to show up in the world and try to be someone else to fit in for our own survival. Because back in the day, that was absolutely necessary to all of us so that we could actually survive. Today, it's not so necessary. We will need to protect ourselves in some cases, but they're very rare. And otherwise, we have this beautiful opportunity to learn how to be in the world without that fear. I've actually just recently started a human design teacher training. Many of you know I'm obsessed with human design. I love it. I use it to understand my clients, myself, my family, my friends, and everybody in my life, and to understand how and why we're different. And something I've recently learned through this training is that I have an undefined spleen in my body graph. And what that means is I actually don't have a lot of fears and anxieties that are actually mine, but I deeply feel the fears and anxieties of everybody else around me, of the world. And so my job to be in my power is to not succumb to the fear and anxieties of others. I can reflect and mirror that this is something that may be affecting the person that is in front of me. But my job is not to enable those fears and anxieties, not to say, yeah, I know what you mean. And because I can feel this from you, it feels real. So I want to support what you're saying. No, what I need to do as a space holder and with the particular design that I have is to let the other person recognize that that is what they're feeling and where they're coming from, but that there is another perspective. And that perspective is love and abundance. What would we do in this world without the fear and the anxiety? How would we show up in our businesses? How would we allow ourselves to expand? How would we allow ourselves to be ourselves? These are beautiful questions I'd love for all of you to start considering. So, with that in mind, today I want to talk about building a $100,000 business. So that's a business that generates revenue of $100,000 each year or more, and how we do that and thrive holistically at the same time. As you'll know if you've been listening to the podcast, when I talk about holistically thriving, I'm talking about thriving physically and financially, spiritually, creatively, mentally, and emotionally. 6 areas that I believe really make up the different areas of desires that we have. I do believe that we can have it all. It just needs to be our all. And when it comes to building a financially successful business, which to you might mean something different to me, but to me, I'm talking about building a $100,000 business. We get to do that and thrive while we do it. It doesn't mean it won't be hard. What makes it hard is because our mind does not want you to expand because it's scared and because the world around us has told us, especially as women or minorities, that that is wrong, that we can't have money in abundance, that being spiritual and wanting material prosperity is something that's wrong. But I want to tell you that it's not. And I really want to be an example of someone who's embodying being herself, who owns her material prosperity and desire, and who allows herself to show up and be of the highest service using her unique gifts, and to claim all of these 3 things without apology. I have been scared of talking about my material desires and my financial desires throughout my business journey. I've held myself back on many occasions from sharing this with you all. At the beginning of the year, some of you might remember I did an episode, Things I'm Afraid to Share with You, and I spoke about how I had quadrupled my business income and how I'd managed to do that, and then I had many episodes diving into these concepts even deeper. This year, I've been scaling my business to multiple 6 figures, and it's become really apparent to me that the people I want to serve and the people I've been scared to admit that I want to serve are other people who have the desire to be themselves and share their innate gifts, to thrive while doing it holistically, and who want to build a $100,000 business plus doing just that. The reason that feels scary, or at least felt scary, and why I wasn't speaking about this more, is because I too have been conditioned to hold that deep shame. But money is energy. And when we allow ourselves to receive financial prosperity as conscious, spiritually aware people in the world, making a meaningful and positive difference to the lives of both ourselves and others, that benefits everyone. The more money you make does not take money from someone else. It's an exchange of energy. When I receive money from my clients, I allow them to expand. I allow them to embody their desires. I allow them to enjoy their journey of building their $100,000 business. I allow their up-leveling. That is the energetic exchange. And then I receive money that I am able to use to fuel myself. And I'm going to start there first because a lot of us feel that we have to use that money to fuel others first. Nope. I respect my money and I use it in ways that feel good to me and fill me up. Sometimes that involves investing in my business. I choose to heavily invest in my business because part of my human design is here to share my knowledge. And so I invest in learning. I have invested in human design, in menstruality mentoring with the Red School, with many different marketing experts, sales experts. I've invested in my team. I've invested in inner voice facilitation, in life coaching, in women's circle facilitation. I will be investing in yoga when I get that chance to go to Bali next. I've invested in learning how to up-level my mindset, to understand my mindset, to up-level my relationship with money. I've invested in understanding how to build a $100,000 business. And because of these investments, I have up-leveled very quickly. But most importantly, I'm able to serve you in a higher way. This year in 2020, I have invested tens and tens and tens and even more tens of thousands of dollars into my business. Those investments have been investments into myself because that's the energy from which I make them. I wanted to make these investments. I've also invested in theta healing and spiritual masterminds and just all of the things, right? And I do this to invest in myself, my business, and also in my service. This is what feels great for me. So money, receiving money, which allows the up-leveling of others, also allows the up-leveling of me. I also love to use my money to support myself, to thrive, body, mind, and soul, to look after myself, to buy food that nourishes my body, to invest in my self-care, and to give to others, to support charities I believe in, to support organizations and people I believe in. You know, I want to direct my money to friends, to family, to organizations that feel like friends and family, that I believe in. We vote with our dollar. And I abundantly and generously give in these areas because I know that that energy exchange is always coming back to me tenfold. And this, my beautiful friends, is why I unapologetically allow myself to receive financially. I choose what I charge in my business. I choose how I spend and save my money. And I encourage you to do the same. The other day when I decided now was the time to invest in my human design reading training, which is something I've been wanting to do since the moment I came into contact with human design, which was probably about 2 years ago, I was able to easily, just because I felt like it, invest $1,000 into learning a course just that day because I thought, yeah, today's the day. I feel excited to learn about this, so I'm going to invest in it. The freedom to have that choice is not something I have had throughout my life. I want you all to know that I do not come from a wealthy background. And I have had, and I still have, my fair share of generational financial wounds that I've had to heal myself from and continue to heal myself from. I was the first person in my family to go to university. I did not grow up in a stable family home. I had a very tough upbringing without any disrespect to my parents. I'm also Aboriginal. And what that means is I have grown up in a system that did not allow me and my family to have money, to build generational wealth. And as some of you will know, it's not even just about one particular family line, because who we have in our lives is always a reflection of each other, right? So if one side of the family is unable to have wealth, it's very likely that the person they marry is experiencing the same thing. We're all mirrors. I'm also a woman, and we've got to think. It hasn't been very long that we as women have been able to earn and manage our own money. That doesn't escape me, even when I just look at the opportunities that have been available to me compared to my mother. You know, all of this is so new to us, and this is why, especially as women or female identifying people, it is this other barrier we have to overcome when it comes to shame and money. Transcending that. I also grew up with really terrible money issues. I've been earning money since I was 14, and I also spent a lot of money. I paid for myself from a very young age, and I had significant debt at a very early age, getting my first credit card when I was 18 and just wanting to love myself and buy things for myself and getting validation through the things that I bought, and then needing to pay for my university and put it on credit cards. I got into debt very quickly. And so I went through an experience of learning how to pay off debt and learning how to manage my money and learning how to allow myself to ask for what I deserve and being able to allow myself to have money and not feel bad about it, not feel ashamed about it. Something interesting I've also recently been diving into, and we're going to have someone come onto the podcast to talk more about this, is gene keys. And part of my gene key, which I'm still in the very early stages of learning, is my ascension strategy here is all about spirituality, really supporting myself and others to ascend spiritually. And my fuel for that is actually through material prosperity. So allowing myself to have and be motivated by money is actually supporting me with my purpose, which is all about spiritual abundance. So it's not one or the other, right? And a lot of us, especially if you call yourself a healer and identify with that label, we feel that sharing our spiritual gifts, that there's a conditioning that it's not right to receive money. And that comes from back in the day. In the communities, this person with the spiritual gifts, the healer, would be supported by their community, but that doesn't happen in today's society. There's this real individualistic aspect of our society, which is a function of the system. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it is what it is, right? And so without judgment, like money isn't bad, capitalism isn't even bad or good, right? It's the way we think about it that makes it bad or good. So as abundant business owners and humans, we want to allow ourselves to have just because we want it, just because we have the desire, just because we can. Not because it's good or bad. Can you see the difference? So, part of my own up-leveling is really making a commitment to talk more about money. And as I'm expanding and scaling my business, I've been working on my money mindset and energy at a whole new level. But I've obviously learned a lot to allow myself to build a $100,000 business. And that's something I'm committed to sharing unapologetically with my clients and this community. So if you notice yourself getting triggered by me talking about building a $100,000 business, I want you to ask yourself why. Why am I not allowing myself to have that? Why am I judging others for having that? And then more importantly, getting to the root of that fear, which is, why am I scared of having that? What do I believe will change about myself if I allow myself to have the financial abundance that I desire? You will get some beautiful insights from answering those questions. Now, everybody, it's actually so funny because everything that we're speaking through today, I actually didn't plan on going into this in this particular angle or even mentioning half of the things that I've spoken about. This is coming through me as a really important message that wants to come through today. Actually, before I started recording this episode, my mind really didn't want me to start recording, but my inner voice was saying, yes, go start recording, start speaking. So this is clearly a message that needs to be heard, and I want you to know that I'm there with you, right? I understand exactly what it's like to desire something, but then to shut yourself down for that same desire. And it's something that is a process. We don't just one day say, oh, okay, that's it. I'm cured. Not that we need to be cured, but I just don't have this anymore. It is a journey, right? And that's why along our business journeys, it's not I work with someone once and then everything is solved. It's a partnership. I allow myself to have a team for the long term. I allow myself the beauty of that support as I continue to evolve and expand, because things come up through that process of expansion, not all at once. It's a journey, and our job is to allow that process of expansion to be as easeful and supported and fun and loving as possible. And so we deserve to allow ourselves to have the support. And that could be through listening to a podcast like this, right? But allowing ourselves to be supported. So I now want to talk about the things that I'd planned on talking about with you today, which I'll go through quickly. And I just want to let you know, if you're here in this part of the episode, that I'm also going to share today exactly how you can find out about working with me in 2021 if you'd love my support in supporting you to either start your business and create a foundation for the amazing, holistically thriving business that you desire, or if you are ready to build your business and take it to that $100,000 and beyond business and thrive while doing it. I'm using a new process this time around to support you all to do that. And the reason for that is I have a number of different ways of working with you. And it's not as clear cut as saying starting and growing, right? Like it depends on who you are and what your goals are and what you've been doing, what you've already been working on. So I wanted to come up with a new way of really getting to know you and serve you, i.e., to let you know what the best way of working with me is. So I'm going to share more about exactly how I can support you with learning about what the best way of working with me is in 2021. And I just want to mention this here because this window that will open up for you to do this is only going to open up for a short period of time. So that will open up from now, and it's going to be open for a short period of time. So if you're interested, if your inner voice is leading you and saying, hey, I want you to find out more about working with Leticia, then keep listening to the episode. So I'll share those details at the end. And if you're feeling excited equally or even afraid, that's usually a good indication that your body is trying to tell you something. Now, but before we go into that, I want to take you through some of the key areas that I believe are really necessary when it comes to building a $100,000 business and thriving. And this is what I've learned through my own experience in my own business of creating this for myself, and also through supporting other amazing people in business to do the same. So the first thing is, in order to create a $100,000 business, we have to have a validated offer. Now, what this means is an offer is something that you sell to your community that you receive money for in exchange, right? We can't build a $100,000 business unless we're receiving money into our business. And what makes it validated is an offer that's actually selling, right? So it means that people within your community are saying, I want to give you money in exchange for what you're offering. That could be a service, it could be a product, whatever it is, your community are giving you money in exchange for that thing. Now, when you start a business, we go through a process of exploring. It's fun. We're exploring. We're getting to know our community. We're starting this process of conscious communication. And through that process, it requires a lot of us as the business owners really learning from our community about what they value, about how they speak about what they value in exchange for money, and about what actually is of highest service to them. And interestingly, it's not always what we think, right? And that's because we get so much amazing information through what we receive in our conversations, our environment, our relationships, that is beyond what our mind can perceive, right? And the mind is always looking to the past and what it's experienced before and seen others experience before. So it makes complete sense that that would be the case, that often what is actually of highest service to our community is not what we expected or is different to what we expected. So when we start a business, the process, the goal, right, to create a strong foundation is to find that validated offer. And there's a process that we go through to do that. Sometimes we'll land on something really quickly. Other times it will take longer, right? And more communication and learning from our community. Neither is good or bad, right? They're both beautiful, and your journey is going to have divine timing and get you to that validated offer, i.e. an offer that is selling at the perfect time for you. So our intention as business owners who want to build a $100,000 business or make any money is to make sure that we have a validated offer and go through the journey of doing that. So my program, Create Your Beautiful Biz, is the program that supports you to build that validated offer for yourself and create that amazing foundation in your business to do that in a way that allows you still to thrive. For instance, if we're offering something in our business and it drains us, we hate it, we don't like the people that we're working with, we don't value that way of earning money, that's not going to feel like we're thriving. That's not going to be sustainable. So it's really necessary that we look at what it takes to create an aligned and sustainable business too. And that's something that we talk about in Create Your Beautiful Biz. Now, once you have a validated offer, something that is selling, then you want to start focusing your attention on that particular offer. So to get there, you may have been you may have had multiple offers, right? And some of them are selling, some of them are not, some of them are selling at higher rates than others. And so you'll get to this point in your business where you've got a validated offer that's selling in a way that is supportive of you and your business, which means it takes into account, how many people you can work with, the amount that you're charging, like all of these, there's different things that it needs to take into account. And once you've landed on something that will allow you to scale, it's time to focus your attention on that particular thing. And that is then how we build a $100,000 business. We grow and we scale that particular offer. Sometimes it's multiple offers, but more of the time it is one offer, which goes against what our mind believes, because it thinks the more we do and the more we offer, the more we're going to have a chance of receiving income. Our mind also thinks the lower we price our services, that the more money and the more people who will sign up. But that's also not correct either. Our mind thinks the more people we have in our community, the more money we'll make. And that's not correct either. So when we're building a $100,000 business, there is actually a process, what I like to call entrepreneurial maturity. If you haven't watched the video on my YouTube channel, I recommend you go and watch that now, which requires us to do the opposite of what our mind thinks we should do, which is to focus our attention. Now, when you are so close to your business and your identity is caught up in your business, which we also want to separate, which is something that we go through and create your beautiful biz as well when we're setting that strong foundation, we go through a process of finding it really difficult to focus our attention because most of us identify ourselves with our businesses. And so this is why having someone who is independent from you come into your business and be able to show you and help you get clarity on what to focus your attention on is so incredibly valuable. In my holistic business, Mistress Mind, which is my program for supporting people to build their $100,000 business, I first of all take every single person through a process of focusing their attention and building a unique holistic strategy, which basically is going to support you know what your business model is and what you're going to be focusing your attention on. I take each of our members through that process, and it's so fun. It's one of my superpowers. And the feedback that I get is just from that information alone that they have got their money's worth in the Mistress Mind. And I have experienced this myself in my own business, so I understand. And the reason is that doing this aspect of our business, seeing ourselves and our business objectively, is very difficult. But once you allow yourself to have that clarity, you allow yourself to focus your attention and let go of the things that are getting in the way, which is what is actually causing you to feel like you're doing all of the things when you're not really. You're just, wasting attention on things that you don't need to. This is what allows you to start creating more space in your business, which allows you to create a sustainable and easeful and flowing, beautiful business that is uniquely yours, right? Instead, our mind says, no, do all of the things you see XYZ doing. Do all the things you see like Marie Forleo or Gabby Bernstein or whoever it is that you admire, Tony Robbins, whoever it is that you admire. But what you need to understand is what it takes to start a business is different to what it takes to grow, and to grow that first $100,000. And then from $100,000, like what I'm doing in my business now, is different. And I can tell you, for that first $100,000 in my business, I wasn't using Facebook ads and I wasn't using funnels. And I really don't believe that that's something that you need to either. And the reason for this is we want to get really powerful at selling that validated offer first and scaling our business through that. And then once we know that that's really working because we've been receiving this amazing money through that, then we can start thinking about blowing it up with Facebook advertising and more complex funnels, right? So a lot of people start that process too early and they think that that's going to save the day, but it doesn't. Now, equally, of course, if you're really called to something from a place of excitement and intuition, follow that. But generally, most people believe that that's going to be the night that saves the day, and it's just not. So we focus our attention. And then the third thing is, once we have the focus, right? Once we know what we want to focus on in our business, what's going to have the most impact, then the process is having the discipline to stay focused on those specific things in your business. This is really hard, and it's really interesting because what we all do, even when we hire support in our business, is because our mind doesn't want our expansion, and we know that we're getting, advice and recommendations from someone there who's holding our vision and intentions and who wants the things that we want for ourselves, is our mind starts to reject some of those suggestions. Now, obviously, if this comes from a place of your inner voice guiding you to something that's more innovative that you're coming up with yourself, you gotta follow that. But a lot of the time, what actually happens is our mind starts being the rebel, right? This is like Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies quiz. Our mind starts to rebel or question all of the things, putting us into this state of confusion and overwhelm, as a way to sabotage the thing we want. Why? Because it's scared that if we make the money we want or expand in the ways we want, that we're going to die. That's literally what the mind thinks. So we can have compassion for the mind rather than seeing it as the enemy. But it's important to know that something that will come up most likely along your business journey as you start to focus your attention to grow and reach that $100,000 business is that you're going to have difficulties with discipline. So it's really important to have someone to help you keep moving forward and focus that attention and bounce back and see yourself and be that mirror for you, and also to have other peers who support you to do the same. The fourth thing that we go through when we're building a $100,000 business is our energy alignment. So it's never about the things that we do. It's more, sometimes it's about the things that we do, but where we need to start first, because then it won't matter about the things we do, is our energy alignment. So if your energy is not aligned with your desires, as we know through manifestation, then you will not have the things that you want because you're not an energetic match for the thing. So when you're growing your business, when you're expanding your business, when you're expanding to the next level, then the next level, then the next level, then the next level, including a $100,000 business, you are going to have to learn how to expand your energy. Right now, this is the number one thing I'm focusing on in my business as I scale my business to multiple 6 figures, right? And I am scaling it. I am there doing that now. And the number one thing I'm focusing on is not what I do. It's about my energy, right? So energy alignment is crucial. And this is what feminine energy is. It's such an important part of the creative process. We all have feminine energy, and it's something that requires you to be tuning and turning within, and something that is experienced rather than something that you do. When your energy is not aligned, that's why you can be doing all the things that feel right, or even all the things that are recommended by someone who you love and trust and who's supporting you, but you're energetically repelling the thing because the mind and the subconscious is scared of your expansion. So there is work involved, subconscious reprogramming, feminine energy exercises to support you in opening that energy up. And it's something that's an ongoing process and journey. Now, the other part of our building a $100,000 business is also getting used to not being the independent woman or the independent person, and getting used to allowing yourself to have a team. One of the biggest roadblocks that I see for the people who are attracted to working with me is that they want to do it all themselves. They think if I can do it all myself, even though they've never done it before. And I want to prove to myself from a place of proving and scarcity rather than abundance and love. Like, why would we try and make things harder for ourselves from a place of love? We wouldn't. So there's this independent person complex, and I know it because I was there, right? I wanted to do everything myself. I also wanted to build a $100,000 business. I've always wanted to do that. But I would not allow myself to get the support I needed. I look back at my business journey and I would have saved myself years of struggling and trying to figure it out just to prove that I'm worthy, which is ridiculous because we're all worthy. Worthiness, actually, the barometer of worthiness only exists in our mind. It's not a thing. Like, you don't have to ask whether you're worthy or not. You just are, right? That's a made up thing from the mind. And so when it comes to our businesses, what we do is we try to do everything ourselves, and we've never done it before, and we make it hard, and we don't allow ourselves to be supported by people who are able to help you. Now, this can be through people like me in coaches and mentors, but I'm also talking about people on your team. So one of the things that you go through as you're building that $100,000 business is supporting yourself, yes, with a coach and a mentor, and having people on your team. For instance, in the holistic business Mistress Mind, not only do you have me, but you have a team of all the other women in the Mistress Mind who are also there to work on your business and bounce back ideas and give you and bring their own experience, right? Their own inner voices, their own also amazing minds, which are also can give us some really amazing feedback and ideas too. So we cut ourselves off from all of that when we try to do it ourselves. And it's just, it's unrealistic to expect ourselves to be great at everything in our businesses. It's just not going to happen. Business is so vast. There's so many different areas to learn and understand. Like I mentioned before, all of the things I've invested in and trained in to be able to support myself in my business. And so that's something that you've really got to ditch if that's coming up for you too. Am I trying to prove that I can do something on my own? Am I not good at asking for help? I wasn't either, so I understand, okay? There's no judgment here. But you just got to get real with yourself. If I was really coming from a place of love and abundance for myself and trust and faith in the business that I want, that it is being built and it is going to happen, what decisions would I make, right? Don't make decisions for yourself from a place of fear and scarcity and from and decisions that you've made in the past, right? Because they're not going to get you to where you want to go. So you've really got to start opening up to receiving help, right? And that's also the same when it comes to receiving money. It's opening up to receiving that extra support in your business, that team in your business, and also opening up to receive more clients in the business, right? It's another layer of all of this. So we've got the importance of having peers and a guide and a team and really putting some checks and balances around that independence. And we also then have, of course, our mindset. So our mindset is coming in the way all of the time, and even when you've got a connection to your inner voice. So I always love to connect my clients with their inner voices. We do a lot of inner voice coaching when we work together. What does your inner voice say? We dialogue together. It's really fun. It allows you to just drop into your inner voice and be the inner voice rather than bouncing between the inner voice and your mind. But equally, when we're not together or when you're not talking to your inner voice, you still have a mind, and the mind is going to try and lead you down pathways that go against your expansion and your desires, because that's what it's there to do. And it's beautiful, right? It's just doing its job. It's just looking out for us. It's just trying to protect us. So you need to be really aware of when it's doing that. And it is hard to see it when it's you, right? And that's why also having people that we can bounce off and who allow us to see ourselves is so helpful. Equally, when it comes to money, your money mindset and the energy that creates to either block or expand your relationship with money is something that is also crucial to have awareness of and to start remedying, right? So that you can really open up to receiving more money, more clients in your business. For example, a really common thing that comes up, a common issue that comes up for women and for people as they're building their businesses and taking it to that six-figure business or whatever your goal is more clients equals more responsibility. And when we have this fear, what's really behind this is a lack of self-trust, right? And also a lack of boundaries. And it's also a mindset shift needed around what it takes to hold space. So first things first, we aren't responsible for our clients' results, nor should we. Our clients are sovereign and empowered, and they're there to create their own reality. And so we don't take that away from them. We don't disempower our clients by assuming that we're the ones that create the results for them. It's not true. We hold space for the up leveling, right? We hold a contained space. We hold the vision and the desires so the client can come back every time we meet and be in that energy of expansion and possibility for themselves. That is our job as space holders in all of the different ways we all do that. And then, as I spoke about in the energetically opening video that I did recently, which you'll also find on my YouTube channel, it's really about allowing yourself to be in the energy of expansion without that affecting your alignment, right? And without taking on the extra energy on your shoulders and it impacting you as the individual. And that's a delicate balance, right? But it requires really good boundaries. So all of this is about mindset. We live in a human world, so we've got to deal with the mind and we need to know how to manage it and direct it intentionally rather than having it direct our lives. The next thing we need as we're building a $100,000 business and thriving is to make sure we understand our body and our needs. So this is where it comes into that holistic business assessment that I take people through. What does it take for you to thrive across the 6 areas? And how can you work with your body and your energy? And this is why I have been so fascinated with things like masculine and feminine energy, with human design, with working with your menstrual cycle or the moon cycle, sustainability practices, understanding your personality and your astrology, like all of these tools and things that we can use to better understand ourselves and support ourselves in our businesses. So I love to bring in all of that knowledge and skills that I have to support my clients to really see that for themselves. What would actually be an aligned and sustainable business? What are your terms? What are your requirements? What do you need to thrive and to work in the business and build this $100,000 business? You will only get what you want if you ask for it. So the first step is always awareness. Okay, so I've gone through some really amazing things. The final piece I want to say is strategy, but we've kind of spoken about that earlier. It is really helpful to have a holistic strategy for your business. And what that means is you take into account like all of these things that we've spoken about, and we bring all of these elements into a personalized, unique strategy and plan for you along your business that is living and breathing, right? It's not something that you set and forget. It's something that evolves with you, but it gives you that focused attention. It allows you to focus your energy so that you can be more magnetic and have more impact in the areas that you want to have that impact in and that are actually serving and supporting your community. And so this, my beautiful friends, is how we build that $100,000 business. And so, of course, it also involves us doing things, but it's doing the things that are inspired, that come from this holistic strategy, this intentional place, and not doing all of the other things that stifle our energy, that get in the way, that lead us into burnout and to not thriving. This is how we build a $100,000 business. And I want to invite every single one of you listening to this now, if you love learning from me, if you love listening to my podcast, if you love joining my trainings, if you're feeling that call that I'm the person that you would really feel so nurtured and supported by in your beautiful business, I want to invite you to partner with me in 2021, and I'm enrolling from today. So to do that, what I've now created is an assessment, right? It's a form with questions that will get you to reflect on where you're up to today along your business journey. It doesn't matter where you're up to. I encourage you just to fill out the form. There's a series of questions. Some of them you may have never answered before, but all of them are going to really help me to understand what you most need in 2021 and how I can support you. And once you fill out that beautiful assessment form, what I will do is email you personally with exactly what is the best support for you that I can offer you. And of course, if I can't support you, I'll let you know that. And I will give you a recommendation of someone else who could support you if I'm not the appropriate person. And then I'll let you know exactly what the cost is. I'll never keep that from you. And if you'd like to move forward, I'll let you know what the next steps are to take. If you're working with me in the Holistic Business Mistress Mind, that would be something that we then schedule a call for. And so I can get to meet you and you can ask me any other questions. And so we'll just have this really beautiful dialogue about working together, right? And make sure that this is the best fit for you and your business. So if you're interested in working with me in 2021, the window is opening up now. All you need to do is head to leticiaringe.com/assessment. And that's where you'll be able to submit your answers. I encourage you to do it as soon as possible because I only have limited opportunities and spaces for calls, and I want to get back to you as soon as possible. And there's also limits on how many people I can take in. So the best time to fill in that assessment is to do it right now while you're listening to this and feeling excited about the possibility of working together. Now, if you are at the start of your business journey, it's likely that right now some of the issues that you're experiencing are a lack of confidence, not feeling confident to share your voice and your message, feeling scared about things like marketing and sales and not knowing how to show up for those things, not having clarity on your offer or who your soulmate clients are, or exactly like what to do, like what are the building blocks of a business? How do I create this validated offer? How do I start making money? How do I also start having a beautiful, expansive, conscious relationship with money? All of these beautiful things, it's so normal, right? It's just part of the business journey process to go through, really learning how to overcome these issues. And the beautiful thing is when we do it for our businesses, it also helps us to up level, of course, those same areas in our life, and everything is connected. And then when you've got that beautiful validated offer for yourself and you've got your foundation set up, then in the process of growing our businesses to that $100,000 business and beyond, then there's those issues we've spoken about today, what it takes to build a $100,000 business. But just to summarize, some of those issues are reaching that expansion limit for ourselves and needing to open up and expand our energy. It's also having that focus scattered, right, where we feel like we're doing all of the things. How could we possibly receive more clients into our business when we're already doing so much? It's also feeling that I can't allow myself to work with other people's. I've got to do it on my own. I've got to prove myself. I've got to try to do this by myself. I won't allow myself to receive support or ask for help. And that usually is tied into money as well. And allowing ourselves to let go of all of the things that we've got our identity held up in, allow ourselves to really serve and see our community rather than from the mind trying to control things. And then, of course, allowing that alignment piece to come in at an even higher level where we have even more alignment and are receiving even more in our business. And that really seems to go against what we believe is actually possible with our mind. So there's some of the issues that you might be going through right now. And these are all things that we'll be dealing with in all of the different ways that I work with you. And of course, we will address all of the aspects I mentioned earlier about building a $100,000 business and thriving. This is my area of interest, and I love to support people to build those financially successful businesses that also allow you to thrive by being yourself and sharing your innate gifts. So, beautiful people, if you would love to know and find out more about working with me in 2021, this is the opportunity to do it. All you need to do is head over to leticiaringe.com/assessment. Make sure you fill in the form there. Take some space for yourself to do that today, if possible, and submit the assessment form so that I can come back to you straight away. We can start connecting, and also you will just get so much more clarity about your business and where you want to move forward to next just by filling out this assessment. Now, finally, I almost forgot, I put out a call to let me know whether you would like me to create a workbook for you all that takes you through my end of year process that I go through at the end of each year to help me really review the year that has just been, learn from it, and then set new intentions across my life and new ideas and focus for the year ahead. And I've had many of you say that that's something you'd really, really love. And so I've decided that it is something that I'm going to offer. So I'm going to be sending around the details for that. Now, I usually start this process from the 1st of December. So it's something that I want to get up as soon as possible for you all. And as a first step, I'll also be sending around an email to everyone with the details on how to order your workbook so that we can then get started going through that amazing process together. Now, you don't need to do it over the month of December like I do from the 1st of December. You could do this over a couple of days around New Year's Eve or whenever you feel called to. My birthday's in January, so that's also can be a really nice time to do it if your birthday's at the end or the start of the year. But this workbook, this process I take myself through is so amazing. It really helps you to align with yourself. It helps you to align with you, right? Like be yourself and learn from yourself and the experiences you've had. So I'm really, really excited to share that with you all. And if you want to know more about that, just make sure you're signed up to receive my newsletter and I'll make sure I share it there. And you can also just send me an email and let me know that that's something you want to hear about. I have been taking down the names of everyone who has said that they want it, and I'll be sure to let you all know. So there you go, beautiful people. It's been so lovely to chat with you all. I'm excited to keep you updated on how I go with my human design reader training and to share more of that in all of the ways I work with you all in 2021. And I'm just so excited to connect with those of you who are called to working together in your beautiful businesses. And I'm also excited for this new level of conscious communication about money for all of us. All right, everybody, have a really beautiful day. Hey, if you're ready to create your very own purpose-driven business too, I invite you to check out my online program, Create Your Beautiful Biz. You'll learn how to create a business that allows you to make your difference and thrive. Just head over to www.leticiaringe.com/CYBB. Let's make creating a business beautiful. I'll see you there.